Hey guys, Noxfox here, and I want to talk to you about something that I think a lot of people are going to want to hear about, which, as you can probably tell before clicking on the video, is how to improve fast. So right from the get-go, I want to say this isn't like about shortcuts or tricks or, a build of the month or anything like that. What I'm talking about when I'm saying improve is I'm talking about building up like genuine skill in the game, or really in anything. This is going to be a method that you can kind of apply to anything, really. But obviously, since we're going to be talking about Vainglory on this Vainglory channel, we're going to be looking at it through the lens of a Vainglory player who's maybe getting stuck at it. They're not sure how to improve, that kind of thing. And yeah, this will just be kind of some steps you can take to get you on the right path, and it's something that will work for you from being a beginner all the way up to a professional career, if that's where it takes you. So yeah, because I've had the privilege of managing and interacting with professional teams and players, and yeah, it's just it's kind of surprising how often I see people not applying these kind of principles. So I think it's going to be, even if you're a really high skill tiered player, there could be some ideas here that could be useful to you. Yeah, so it's honestly, it's pretty basic. It's three. We're going to break it down into three main steps. And it basically all it is just the natural human learning process. But like I said, you'd be surprised how many people just aren't applying it, or don't recognize it as such, or even recognize that they should be applying it, and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's three steps. The first step is fail, which will make sense in a minute. The second step is analyze. Let me get my fingers in the frame here. And the third step is adjust. So yeah, that's probably already going to sound really straightforward, and it is. But we're going to take a closer look at it, and yeah, see how to actually practically apply it to improving your play skill. So yeah, already I'm probably getting some strange looks from folks for saying that the first step is fail. And there's quite a few reasons that this is an actual step. It's not just meant to be weird. So yeah, so just naturally, we don't usually need a whole lot of help learning from our successes. That's just as we practice and things start working, we just naturally know that they work, and then we just keep doing them, right? It's pretty straightforward. Now, I'm not saying you can't analyze a success. You certainly can, but typically there is just such a higher wealth of knowledge to gain from analyzing a failure. It's just the nature of it, because as we increase our skill, the biggest hurdle is going to be cutting out our weak points. Those are always going to be what's holding us back. The saying goes, you're only as strong, or the herd is only as strong as the weakest member. Your skill is only as good as your weakest aspect. So yeah, we really need to focus on our failures, and that's what this step's all about. So yeah, failure is a pretty broad term. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean a loss. Fail can be all kinds of things. You could play a completely normal match, things go back and forth, your team wins, it's a win. But maybe you had really low CS or something like that, and so you as a player, for you personally, maybe you consider that failure, and then you can kind of look at what happened and see oh, why is my CS low, and things like that. But we'll get to that stuff in the analyze step. Right now we're still talking about why failure is important. Yeah, so even at the very top levels of play, you'll see people who are playing just to train. They're not playing to rank, they're not playing to win, they're playing to become better. Those players who are playing to get better, and this isn't just Vainglory, this is in all kind of professional esports, or even chess, if you want to talk about that. They want the losses. They're not trying to lose, but they want to play a match where they get bested and then lose, because that's where the improvement happens. That's where the learning happens. You know, that's when you're hit with something unexpected, and you can go, "Oh, whoa, what happened? I can learn from this." And that's what the top tier players are looking for, which I think surprises a lot of people. They're like, because you wouldn't expect, you know, I mean, a lot of people wouldn't expect for like a really skilled player to be like wanting to lose. Like I said, they're not trying to lose, but they want to be bested so that they can improve. That's like the whole goal. So yeah, failures are a big deal, and you want to start, and you can kind of like, it can kind of help you change your mindset, where like you would be, there's Doggo. Like normally you'd be like, you would hate a loss. You'd be like, oh no, I lost, that sucks. But no, if your goal is to improve, you want losses and start being happy when you get them. You know, if it helps you, I don't know. Some people will never be happy with a loss. It just depends how competitive you are and how you kind of perceive things. But you know, eventually cool off and then take a look at it. Yeah, so losses become very valuable, which is why failure is like a step here. So yeah, so you got your loss, or not even a loss. It could be, you know, it could be. I mean, I'm going back and forth, but yeah. So it could be a loss. It could just be something minor that you want to adjust in your play, that you just identify and are able to say, oh yeah, that was like a failure, quote, a failure. Or, you know, it's just a mess up or a misstep. It could be so many things. That's why we keep it broad, so that you can apply it to every aspect of your play, or to, you know, any other skill, like I said. So yeah, so you've spotted it, or you've acknowledged that something happened. So now we analyze it, and so let's talk about how we're going to do that, because that's step 2. So yeah, obviously, if you can, start recording some matches. You don't even have to, like, you know, not even every match, but, you know, maybe have like a set time or a set day that you will record some matches. Obviously, we're talking about more serious players at this point. If you're a casual player, you know, try to, if you can. You know, obviously, if you're just playing for fun and you want to improve, you might not want to go through all the hassle of, you know, getting something set up to record. But if you can, maybe once a week, or, you know, whatever time frame is good for you. Even so, if you're not going to record, maybe just watch a replay. Like you have a match, maybe you lost, maybe you know you kind of did something weird, or that something kind of that you didn't want to happen did happen, and maybe just watch the replay of that match and kind of look through it. Because that's going to be our best way to analyze. Luckily, you know, when we're talking about like improving skill at a video game, there's a lot of options to kind of record, and we re-watch like exactly what happened, down to like the most like minute detail, down to the millisecond. So we really have a lot of powerful tools for analyzing this stuff. So, you know, try to take advantage of that. Yeah, and to like professional players, or really high skill tier players, or people that are really serious about getting up to that high skill tier, or taking their skill level to the next level, yeah, definitely have like a time worked out, or a schedule where you're either recording if possible, or, you know, watching replays and that kind of thing. It's going to be well worth the time invested if your goal is actually to improve. Yeah, and because I want to point out, like winning, like wins and skill tier increases happen independently of skill increases. Anyone who's like a really good player and has been, you know, just had like a loss streak due to like solo queue or all kinds of things, will tell you that, you know, skill tier and skill level, like actual skill level, they don't always line up. They don't always match. So I would also like suggest that if you are looking to improve, and that's your big goal, I would say don't even like focus so much on wins and on the skill tier increases. Like focus on finding what you can improve, because that's going to be the most value that you're going to get if your goal is to improve and improve efficiently, like fast, as the title would say. Yeah, because there's no actual fast improvement, but there is more effective, more efficient improvement, and that's kind of what we're talking about here. So, so we go to analyze, and I already know from experience that a lot of people are going to analyze something, or they'll be rewatching something, or even if they're not watching it, even like the match happened, and they're like, oh yeah, this went wrong in the match, but that wasn't my fault. Like, it was my teammate's fault, or it was a bird flew into my room, or whatever crazy excuse they're gonna have. And yeah, this is the analyze part, is where it's very important to set your ego aside and just just acknowledge that you really need to, like, that everyone has problems that they need to work on, and we need to find them. So, like, you need to avoid blaming anything other than yourself and blaming your teammates. Not saying that it could very, very well possibly be that the issue was a teammate's decision, or maybe a bird really did fly into your room and smack your device out of your hand or whatever. But let's for the goal of improving, we don't want to have that mindset. So we want to kind of set that aside and look, mainly because, well, there's two big reasons. One is Vainglory, whether you like it or not, is a team-based game, like all MOBAs. So you have to work with a team, so you can't just be blaming your team whenever something goes wrong. Or if it is a teammate's problem, you need to learn how to work with them. That's going to be part of your adjustment. And two, wait, what's I talking about? Yeah, and two, we can't really, it's ineffective to focus on things that we can't control. So yeah, if your device slipped out of your hand, or, well, that's something we could control. But yeah, if something happened outside of the game, or if it's something a teammate did, or whatever, or lag or things, we can't control these things. So there's no gain, skill. Like, if we're trying to improve our skill, there's no gain for us from focusing on these things or just writing it off as that. So yeah, even if it is a teammate, so even if you, like, let's say something happened, there was a play and you analyzed it, and you came to the conclusion that you acted completely perfect, which isn't true, because it's impossible to play perfectly. But let's say you didn't make any major mistakes, and you really feel like it was a teammate's mistake or something. So, like I said, we can't control our teammates, not directly, obviously. But let's look at the things we can control. So, how is our communication? Are we on voice chat with our team? Maybe we're in solo queue and we don't have that option. In that case, were we using our pings to the best of our ability? And things like that. Like, let's look at the things that we can do. Maybe they got caught out. Maybe we could pitch in with vision. Maybe, like, they got caught out because there was no vision. These things, like, not saying that it wasn't the teammate's fault, but if we are looking at strictly how to become the best that we possibly can be, like, we have to learn to work with teammates. That's just how it is. So what could we have done to help our teammate? And yeah, so obviously you're not going to have a strategy to kind of work with every random player that you come up with, or that you get matched with, but you will see, like, some trends just that you may be able to work with. Like, you'll start to notice that, like, when somebody doesn't have a lot of vision and they're just kind of wandering, if you see a lot of face checking, maybe chipping with vision might be the answer. Maybe it won't be, but we want to get into the mindset to basically look at and just analyze things in a way to where we look at every angle, and figure out what can work, and then we try it, which is the adjustment phase, and then we see how it works. and then we run the entire process again. Maybe maybe that does happen. Maybe a teammate was getting like caught out too much because they were face checking. So you started chipping in with vision, and maybe it didn't work at all. Maybe maybe it cost you way too much money, and that was an issue. Maybe the teammate still was just doing whatever that got them caught out. But yeah, so then that goes right back down the method of that was a failure. Let's analyze it. Let's adjust it. And so we just keep doing that until we just get our play as like tight and just as efficient as it can be. And so that kind of like explains the adjustment phase too. But let's talk about that a little bit more. So yeah, the adjustment phase, that is probably the most fun part of this whole process. Because that's where you're trying things. That's where you're seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, which can be exciting or maybe even frustrating at times. But it's going to be the most interesting. And this is where also you're going to find your playstyle, because different people are going to find different solutions to the same exact problem. Like we'll just keep using that same example. I like this example because, like I said, a lot of people are going to be blaming things outside themselves, and this is a good example of how maybe you can make some adjustments to things that are a little bit outside, or that, well, not a little bit, completely outside of your control, but you can still make adjustments to them. So that's why I keep going back to this. But so let's say the whole situation happened. Your teammate is getting caught out, where one player might go vision's the answer. I like having vision. I want my team to see what's going on, and that's gonna solve all our problems. And another player is like communication. I need to convince my team, my teammates, that communication is vital, and we're all gonna get on Discord or Skype or whatever, and then that's gonna solve our problem. Or I'm just gonna use more pings because we can't get them on chat. And yeah, it'll be like that. Because like I could say, me personally, I try to cut vision as much as possible, which is weird because I'm a roam maid, and people are off-put by that all the time. But yeah, I'm very much an econ player, just always have been, not just in Vainglory, just in other games too. But anyways, this isn't about me. This is about how you can improve. So that's that's the basics of it. Like I said, it's basically just the natural learning process, only kind of laid out, step by step, and kind of just kind of put in a way where you can kind of see how it might work for Vainglory. And like I said, this is really important stuff, because even in the high skill tier, I see people who they get stuck. They can't. They hit a wall. I think it happens to everybody at some point. And this is like how you get over that wall. But a lot of people, they don't know how to get over that wall, and they keep practicing and practicing, and they're not adjusting anything. They just keep practicing, and they say, if I keep practicing, I'm going to get better. And that's true to a point, but at some point you have to really focus in on the things that are holding you back. And sometimes they'll naturally go away with more practice. For some people they do. For some people they don't. Some people they just don't see it in the moment. And then, but if they were to kind of follow these steps and kind of go back and look at it, they'd be like, oh, this whole time I've been doing blank, and I didn't even know it. Like, you might have those kind of revelations. So even if you're like listening to me now and you're going like, I don't need to do that, I know what I'm doing, I'll get better, like, just give it a shot. Rewatch some matches, maybe watch some, if you can't record them, do some replays, and really and look at everything, even little minute details, because even, like I said, even if you have a win, just look at all the little things that happen. You might be surprised, like how much you'll see. especially in replays where you can like see both teams' positions at all times. Like you'll probably come across moments where like, oh man, if the enemy had moved like just like an inch over this way, like I would have been dead, or like, you know, all these kind of things where like maybe your positioning was a little weird, or just, you know, just tons of stuff. Like I said, it really applies to everything. So yeah, definitely, yeah, just take a hard look at everything you're doing, especially when you see problems like crop up. That's gonna be the red flag. You can like if you don't want to get that serious about it, just ignore all of this until something happens that kind of brings it to the forefront. Just like you know that moment where your whole team's in the brush, ready to fight, and then the next like 3 seconds later, your whole team's like deleted, just melted. It's an ace, and you're like, what the heck happened? So yeah, so this is the foundation. I'll be making a whole lot of other videos about like the nitty-gritty, and kind of taking a closer look at more like very specific and individual things. But this is like, basically if you wanted to know how to get, you know, how to improve at like the most efficient rate, this is like the overview. This is the foundation. This is what everything's going to be built on, because that it really is pretty much this simple. You know, it's not. I know a lot of people like think it's some, you know, mystified thing where there's some like Vainglory guru up at the top of, you know, a mountain that you have to like climb up and learn from. But no, you can learn from yourself. I think that's the biggest thing I want you guys to take away from this, is that everything you need to learn, you can learn from yourself with proper observation and analysis and adjustments. That's, you know, pretty much what this is. Yeah, so hope you guys got something useful from this. Like I said, there's going to be more videos, you know, in this nature, where I'll be talking about you know, ways to improve things and all that stuff. So yeah, just try it out if you haven't, or if you think I'm full of baloney or whatever. Yeah, try out some of this stuff, just because this is the way to do it. Like I said, there's no shortcuts to getting actual skill. This is what's gonna make you a player that can win when behind, that knows what to do in a crisis situation. And that even if you can't pull out that win, you're gonna know how to look at that match, see what went wrong, and you're gonna come back even stronger. You're gonna figure it all out on your own, basically. But yeah, so I think that's all I wanted to say. If you guys do have some questions, please send them my way, and especially if there's some topics you want me to go over, because like I said, this is going to be like an ongoing thing. I might, you know, it could be all kinds of topics. It could be something specific, could be something broad. It doesn't even have to be about Vainglory, I guess, if you want. So, yeah. So, yeah. Let me know if there's anything you didn't quite understand, or want me to go over some more, or just anything like that. Yeah, let me know. So, alright guys, thanks for watching. Hope you get some use from this. And yeah, get your skill level up. Not your skill tier. Don't worry about your tier. Get your skill level up. Be the most awesome player you can be. So, alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.